we're basically famous people now because we are gonna be in a movie. And by we, I mean our farm. But we're kind of regretting it, and it's a little bit of a mistake because we found out that it's actually tomorrow. And what we've committed ourselves to is making a display of dried flowers. And I still have done nothing with the dried flowers all winter. And so we are finally going to make the video that we promised. We are gonna go and we're gonna arrange dried flowers, crunch time style. Oh, hello. We're Red Roof Family Farm, the beautiful market stand that sells a whole array of beautiful dried flowers is what I want our display that we're gonna build to say to the background of this movie. But unfortunately, what we're currently working with is a couple totes that are left over from the fall, and this entire table spread out, ready for me to make bouquets. So we got some work to do.
Here are the details. Basically, this movie is filming a scene at a farmer's market. So they reached out to our market manager, who reached out to the vendors and asked, you know, does anybody have the ability to come set up a stand? And we thought we were gonna have a few more days for it, but it turns out that we gotta set it up tomorrow. So it's a bit of a rush. We are feeling the time crunch. We're just kind of concerned about being able to produce a stand that looks as good as we want it to, because really there's no point in doing this if it doesn't look amazing.
I don't even know. Like what? Like I don't even know why we agreed to do this. As much as this video is about building a beautiful stand for a movie set, it is also very much about making dried flower bouquets. Because the truth is, the reason this table is set up like this is because I've been saying again and again, when I get a minute, I'm gonna come down and I'm gonna make a video about arranging dried flowers. And now, very classic Ian and Serina market time. It is 11 o'clock at night and we need to get these flowers done because the market is tomorrow. Deadline. So, let's make some bouquets. Ian, inspire me. What do you want?
I want to hear.
Give me a recipe.
I want something floofy at the top.
Okay, you want something floofy. We'll take some of these feather dusters, also known as miscanthus grass.
I want some color.
Okay, so
I want some color with my floof.
So floof and color. Okay, we can do this. What price point are we going for?
Well, I think we need a super expensive centerpiece one.
Okay, so you want arranged in a vase, floofy and colorful.
Yeah.
Let's grab a vase.
That's a bucket.
How about this beautiful, beautiful vase right here, which will make a massive centerpiece arrangement. Basically, I'm going to make a few bouquets here, then we're gonna send the bouquets already made, and then finally the stuff that has never been unpacked, like those gomphrena, will get sent down as is, because they're not gonna be sold. So I don't have to worry about displaying anything that isn't a product that we wouldn't sell. Look at that. Is that floofy enough for you? Okay, we need bulk. Maybe also need a table. All right, things I've learned about arranging dried flowers while playing with arranging dried flowers. Number one, it is less about different flowers than it is about different textures, right? So we, you know, floofy and hard. I don't even know how to describe this. Using something solid and substantial and then contrasting it with something, you know, light and romantic, right? So the contrast of these is gonna play off even though the colors are complementary. I love the color on the Rudbeckia, but I also love the weird movement of how these petals dried. Like it looks to me very architectural, and that makes it very different from stuff that, you know, very much looks like, you know, a soft country look that can contrast against it. You know, all the way all these textures play together is what really kind of makes the dried flowers pop, and it's very different from playing with the fresh flowers, but also very fun. And I found it, you know, I found it artistic. You know, like I can see why people enjoyed dried flowers back when they were so trendy. You can do so many different styles with them, while they're basically just timeless dead plants. You know, it's crazy. Dead stuff. I like dead stuff.
What about the delicacy of working with them? Do the stems?
They are a pain in the butt. They are like dried together. They are very hard to handle. I can see why people arrange them fresh and then dry them. You know, you can see inside this bucket. This is just me trying to open up these plants. They're also a pain to bring down to the farmer's market. They do not transport well. This one. I found some, you know, classic flower rules still hold very true. You need filler, right? Like, so far this looks like a bucket of brown dead plants. I get it. It looks super bad. Same as how when you are working with the fresh flowers and all you do is you throw some random greens into a vase, it really doesn't do anything. But without that base, you don't have any bulk to build on. So, you know, I'm following the same kind of idea. And I'll use the stems to create like a little cage for myself to then start, you know, setting stuff into, right? Now these are starting to hold, right? Rather than just falling in like a single clump. You know, you can see it's now doing more what I would want it. Another thing we're keeping in mind on this is I don't have a lot of really tall stuff. So we do still want to keep the height of the arrangement relative to the vessel, you know, like the rules, like those things that florists say that I don't actually know anything about, because I'm most definitely not a florist. Okay, now let's add some more weird bits. I love weird bits. Weird bits are probably my favorite thing to add into our market bouquets.
Like weird dried
And by
pods.
weird bits, I mean like when I put green tomato stems that drives Ian crazy into our market bouquets. I find that they're things that don't necessarily, like, no one's like looks at the flower bouquets and is like, are those tomatoes? They take you off guard, right? They catch you. So one of the things I've been really loving doing with these dried flowers, and I've seen people do it. I've seen them be like, what is that? I have a bunch of these mini garlics. They were too small for me to bother selling, and then I never took the stems off. And so they're dirty, they're shedding, but they have these great long stems, and they look to me like the same things that are so fun about a poppy seed head. But then when someone looks at it closer, they're like, is that garlic? And it is. Yeah, look at that. Everyone likes a nice white pom-pom flower in their arrangements, you know? What a lovely little filler these make. In my mind. I'm sure there's a few people who are right now losing their mind and yelling at me about how ugly my garlic is. But you're wrong.
Maybe we're gonna be like the romantic scene. Maybe they're gonna see our flowers.
Oh, they're gonna be like,
they're gonna rewrite the script.
yeah, they're gonna be like, oh, you gotta kiss.
Okay, I know you've watched every romantic comedy that's ever been made. Let's write the story of this. What's the background of the two characters?
She's incredibly plain, but she's also so special.
I've seen it. He's kind of a jerk. But, you know, there's something about him.
She's new to town, and she's here because of tragedy.
Oh, did he spill his coffee on her?
When they first met, they didn't like each other.
Obviously.
But then animal and or child caused them to realize they really have a connection. She also, for some reason, got this free in. I don't know. I don't know why that happens. They just always seem to be getting these free ins. What do you think, Ian? Is it looking floofy?
It's looking floofy. It's looking pretty good so far.
The magic hasn't even begun. One of my favorite things to work with has been this yarrow. I am very, very happy that I dried so much of this yarrow. This was like a pinky colored yarrow when it was fresh, and I was drowning in it. I had so much of it. So I ended up drying lots and lots of clumps. And it works really great to take up space. But I mean, this color, it's like so dusty and romantic. It's muted, but it's bright. Like look at that against the grass. Yeah, and like I was saying, right? Like all that basil stuff that I put in at the beginning, like it looked brown, it looked dead. That's not gonna be what's drawing the eye, right? It's all that brownness is gonna start to disappear.
It's like painting a background before you do a portrait.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, I put the blue under the skin, and when it's done, it looks like a natural skin tone. I'm not saying that everyone has liked my dried flowers. People have definitely had negative things to say about my dried flowers. But people have negative things to say all the time about my fresh flower arranging too. And I've come to the realization that it's not that I'm wrong, right? It's style.
I think that there's limitations in the looks that you can get with dried flowers. So I appreciate, that you're trying to do some different things.
I feel like that's what I'm going for, and that's like maybe what I mean by the texture, right? Like the texture being more important than anything else. Maybe it's the fact that, I like this kind of soft romantic look.
I'm a big fan of this like pampas style grass.
Yeah, these are amazing. And we have a ton of these coming. We bought 125 miscanthus grasses that will, potentially bloom for us going forward. So we're gonna have a ton of this, and I like it just on its own. I think it looks beautiful, just, without anything. We're gonna try to balance out some of this height, fill in.
Do you think the actor playing the merchant will look better than me?
Well, I'm partial to you. I'm married to you. I know who I think is gonna be the best character in this scene. It's gonna be Red Roof Family Farms. Always my favorite person.
I don't know if I'm attractive enough to be TV ugly. You got like you still got this big hole here.
I know, it's because it's all falling.
We'll just stuff some more stuff in there.
I know, well that's the plan. Okay, so the plan is that once I have this like leveled the way I want it, I'm gonna start, because I'm limited for length of stems. I've used all my really tall stuff. Most of my flowers are shorter, so I'm gonna start ringing the outside, which will then start pushing everything back in a bit more. Okay, here's like one of my bouquets. Though, it looked better before it went to market a few times. But it looks pretty. This picture. Look how good the lettuce looks. Obviously the lettuce looks amazing, but now I was thinking kale.
Those are really short.
We're gonna use movie magic. Some gomphrena. Which color?
That peaky.
Your favorite?
Yeah. You're ruining our beautiful backdrop.
I know. We're gonna dismantle the backdrop for this. Look at that. It's starting to come together, huh?
What do you think retail price?
Oh, $8,000. That's definitely the price tag we'll put on this one. In case someone scouts us out of the background. They wanted to know how much it's gonna cost for Red Roof Family Farm to star in the next movie. Right?
Yeah.
The answer is, she don't come cheap. Well, I will say this in defense of $8,000 dried flower bouquets. They do last. They are, you could even say they're everlasting. That's a joke that obviously went over Ian's head. Dried flowers are called everlasting flowers. You know what my favorite thing in these so far is? My favorite thing is the garlic.
Obviously. More so than the amaranth.
There's something special about using...
You are team veggie, so.
There's something special about using upside down garlics as a dried flower. Yeah. Starting to come together.
It is.
Seeing it?
Starting to hold.
Seeing the vision?
Not as floppy.
Yeah. Okay. Now we need some zinnias. I'm thinking about like what is the front, right? Like so I'm like front facing in some,
Maybe normally you wouldn't focus so much just on the front.
Well, it depends, right? It depends on what it's being. I don't think it's a bad thing for like a large bouquet to have a front and a back. I don't know. This is the back. I still think it looks good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's put some white ones in there. Ready? We're gonna do the spin. This is our decadent $8,000 dried flowers. Oh, gotta make sure all the stems are in. What do you think?
Sold.
All right, so my dried flower tips. These are the things that I've learned from playing with the dried flowers, the little bit that I played with dried flowers. Okay, tip 1, texture and the way the textures contrast against each other, for me personally, is almost more important than color. I put a few together that are brown, that are some of my favorite, because some of my most contrasting textural bits are all in that brown color palette. So, you can really do a lot when you stop thinking about color and you start thinking about what is soft, what is hard, what is romantic, what is architectural, those kind of ideas. Trick number 2, don't be afraid to experiment. Some of my favorite things that I have here to play with in my dried flowers are things that I have no idea why I dried it. I don't know what I was thinking. But weeds and random bits and pieces, like the kale, these garlics, they've ended up being some of the things that I've really needed to make it so that what I want to create is able to be put together with what I have. I absolutely love having a stunning bunch of gomphrena, but at the same time, even though this is kind of your perfect ideal dried flower, those weird bits, I think, can really make the bouquet pop in the same way that these classics do.
Okay, stop shooting B-roll, it's bedtime. We're done here. I got a van somewhat filled with dried flowers. So these are our $20 bouquets from last year that are still, like, we kind of stored them upright. And then these are our $10 bouquets. This is how they were stored. Oh, these lids are hard to get off. And we have another crate like that. So the idea is these $10 ones kind of get stacked on either side, and then the $20 ones get displayed kind of more predominantly circling around the big bouquet that Serina made last night. So that's kind of the idea for the table.
What do you think of your bouquet in the daylight?
I like it. I was like, oh wow, what's that? I like it. Who did that? Yeah, I'll gladly bring that. Well, I guess I'm not gonna bring it inside, but I'd gladly display that on the top of the fridge out here after this is done. I don't know, I think it's gonna look good, right? We have a couple bouquets, and then my plan is that we'll grab these like gomphrena things, and then those can go into the buckets for like a top shelf layer. It'll be a simple but attractive display, and we'll finally get this all cleaned up.
That's really...
Basically, the reason why we did this is I was like, oh, I have all those dried flowers laid out. If we do this, it is, you know, forcing ourselves to organize our dried flowers and get them put away. I think we're getting there for having enough to make it look really nice. I just wonder if maybe I should make a few more $20 bouquets. How about this for dried?
Some hot peppers.
These are some of my peppers. These are my chilies. Look how good they look with the yellow. Okay, let's do one.
That's a spicy bouquet right
Yeah,
there.
this is gonna be a spicy one.
You're becoming an edible bouquet company.
Yep, edible bouquet company. That's what they'll say about me. Fun that is, as like a base.
It's a good start, but
Yeah.
it needs more spicy.
You just wait. Some of this. Dried flowers are a pain in the butt.
They're just
So much
shattering.
easier and like so hard to hold. Here, okay, let's get some purple. Okay, get some of that in there. It's looking like something. Okay, let's get some flowers.
Gotta make it pop for the camera.
Yep, it's gotta pop if it's gonna be a spicy. It's gonna be a spicy one, right? It's coming, right?
Do some
With all
of
the
those
colors.
Rudbeckias, those upside down Rudbeckias.
Nice big one. Put it in the center. There we go. I like it for color, but you know, like I was saying,
It needs like a brown.
it needs
amaranth.
like a texture piece, right? It's like it either needs something like really light and fluffy or something like weird and hard. Ooh, I know what it needs. Yeah, I don't actually know what this is. This is a plant that my mom gave me, and it is like 8 feet tall and like a Rudbeckia. But I love these. I love these little spiky seed pod things. This was like one of those things when I was doing the bouquets in the spring. For us, most of our flowers are annual flowers that kind of start up, you know, into later into June. We don't really have a lot of stuff in that earlier season, and so it was hard to get things to, you know, have a finished look. And I found that, you know, there was all these like really weird things that I maybe wouldn't have normally thought to use, that when I added them in, they gave, you know, like these green seed pod type pieces that gave this really finished look and made it go from looking like, you know, I went and picked a few flowers out of the garden to like, this is an actual arrangement. You know, and like, so weird pieces like this, I feel kind of does that also. I don't know. This is, I need to cut it there, but okay. Now it still needs, this is something like hard. Now we need something fluffy. Oh, look at this. Just right here. It was here all along. There. What do you think?
That's pretty cool. It kind of like twists, it starts twisting.
Yeah, and so the trick for getting the twist, which like builds the shape, is like I'm purposely making the twist by, I'm not putting it in like this, I'm putting it in like this, right? And then it's creating the shape and the twist, and you always put it in the same direction. If I go and I put one in like this, it will start to fight against me. So you pick a direction and then you put it in, put it in, put it in. It's one of those tricks that florists talk about all the time, and it looks really complicated when they do it, but it's very natural in the hand once you actually start to physically do it. One of the nice thing about dried flowers is you don't have to worry about the stem length being all exactly the same, because it's not like they have to be in the water, right? Okay, what do we think? It's not done yet, because we need to put the wrap on it. Finishing touches. All right, making a wrap. Do-do-do-do. Okay. Perfect though. Perfect finishing touch. Getting it all sleeved in like that. And then your husband is like, "Happy Valentine's Day. I bought this for you."
Not your husband.
Because my love is everlasting. Yeah, my husband's like, "Get these flowers off the table. I got work to do." And I'm like, "You're right. I do have work to do." In they go.
We're rolling. We're on our way to set up the market stand, become super famous people. Yeah, so it's exciting.
I like that we're going and doing the setup because this is a great opportunity to train up my market employee on proper display building for the new year.
I don't know. I think I know what I'm doing pretty good. I get lots of compliments on how I set up my displays, and obviously there's some input from you about that, but I think that there's a lot of me there too. Okay, I have arrived. I'm gonna go inside and set up, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. I'm pretty stoked to be back here. This little mission hall is so cute. Looks like a barn. Probably was a barn in the past, but it's like a community hall for Mission, which is part of Kelowna. And we used to live in this area of town back in the day when we first came here. And so it's kind of fun to be back because we don't really come out this way very often.
Okay, Ian has got us all the gossip about what this movie's all about.
It's not just a romantic comedy. It's a Christmas romantic comedy.
Ooh.
Oh, yes, very festive. They ended up using our setup as a wreath making station, so we're not sure exactly.
I don't even know how that would work.
They actually ended up moving my setup a little bit. I think my setup looked a little better than what they had.
Yeah, when this movie comes out, we're not putting our name behind this market
We
setup.
told them to take the sign down,
Not actually.
but they did take the sign down.
The name of the movie is Christmas Au Pair, which, you know, that's a little weird.
Yeah, because an au
But-
pair is like a live-in nanny type position. I think this might be the widow storyline.
I definitely say that I nailed it when I said that they were going to connect over either a child and or pet. I've been telling Ian, I'm like, oh, okay, it's gonna be a Christmas Sound of Music knockoff, and he keeps being like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, I already had another idea kind of like planned out in my head. Imagine this. He's like tall and handsome, and he's walking around a corner with his coffee in his hand, and she's all like disheveled and disorganized, and like walks around the corner and smacks into him and knocks him on the ground, and he hits his head and gets amnesia.
Oh no!
That's right. And he can't remember anything, but when he looks up at her, the street light behind her makes her look like
she's an angel. She's an angel. Yes, yes.
Okay, you ready for the title?
Okay.
A Christmas to Remember.
Oh,
So good.
Oh, Ian. we might have to get into screenplay writing.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Movie may have actually already been filmed. Exactly. Well, now it's all set up. It looks really good. I had enough stuff to make like a big, impressive wall of dried flowers. So I think it turned out really well. I'm sure the movie company is going to be happy with how it looks because I think it'll look good on camera. So, you know, we are right close to the trailer that Serina and I first moved into when we first moved in together in Kelowna. So I figured I would go take a drive-by and show you where we used to live.
You know, it's such a romantic way to celebrate Valentine's Day, you know, to come together and bring out all these flowers for a romantic movie, and then to think back and look back about our romantic beginning, living in our junky trailer in the crackhead trailer park.
But it was a beautiful spot.
It was a beautiful spot, right across from the lake.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, 2 out of 3 bedrooms could be walked on the floor of, and you know, as Meatloaf famously said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.